Hey there, Knicks fans. It's your boy, Jonathan Macri, here with you for a very special announcement about something we are all very excited about here at Knicks Film School. Yes, it is the return of FANATICS Fest, which is taking over the Jacob Javits Center in New York City from Thursday, July 16th through Sunday, July 19th. This is an opportunity for you to meet all of your favorite athletes in every major league, catch some live podcasts and panels featuring some of the biggest names in sports, and experience interactive activations from top leagues and brands. This is a chance for you to check out all kinds of memorabilia, buy, sell, and trade collectibles, and of course, interact with other fans from around the world. Tickets are on sale now at fanaticsfest.com, and when you use your promo code KnicksFilm10 at checkout, you will get 10% off your purchase. It is an extra day of the world's #1 sports fan festival coming together under one roof, and you will not want to miss it. Welcome to another edition of the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by FANATICS Sportsbook. My name is Jonathan Macri, and games like that are why I just can't quit drinking. Also, funny story. I'm here with Benjy Ritholtz. Benjy, I'm going to need you to talk for a few seconds while I figure out why I can't hear anything. So I'm going to give the floor to you. Talk about what we just witnessed, if you don't mind.
This is the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by FANATICS Sportsbook. He can't hear me, so he doesn't know that he missed that. Anyway, yeah, well, that was an interesting game. I hope you all enjoyed that as John's figuring out his audio. Look, you have an outlier free throw shooting game like that, which I don't think I've ever seen the Knicks do anything quite like that. And I do think that is the first takeaway. When you miss that many free throws, including clutch free throws that make it a tighter game than it should have been. And they missed a lot of open three-point looks as well. I don't think there's a tremendously deep takeaway from this game other than they'll shoot better from the line and they'll shoot better from three, and they would have won this game by 10, 15 points probably on a normal night. This was a wild shooting performance in a negative sense. John, do you hear me now?
I can hear you, and the reason why I could not hear you before is sometime between when Landry Shamet missed his first free throw and when Jalen Brunson missed a free throw, 5 missed free throws later. And actually, no, not even then. When the offensive foul was called, I must have smacked my my headphone wire out of my microphone, which is why I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. That was special. It was a special experience to have with you, John, watching on the playback.
Look, I say it all the time. I am truly getting too old for this shit because, my Lord, that was trying. It was, I think, made more trying by the fact that we were watching on playback, and shout out to everybody who watched along with us on playback. Shout out to everybody who watched along with us on the Knicks Film School YouTube. The whole night, as the night kept going along, you saw in the chat, or I saw in the chat, I don't know how much you were paying attention to the chat. I was paying attention to the chat a little bit. People getting more and more and more disenchanted with this game. And eventually it was just like, fuck this, to hell with this. This is nonsense. This is garbage. And I'm sitting there, and I'm me and you, we're fighting the good fight. And Sean, we're trying to be positive and be like, look, just get the win, get the win, get the win. And I think all of that washed over me to a degree where I was just kind of beaten down by the end of this one. And now we're going to sit here. And I completely agree with you, by the way. What takeaways do you take from this game? Like, give me one big picture takeaway from this game. Let's anything.
Yeah, if there was one criticism, I would say they were slow offensively. I think that overall in the game, it was a little bit of last year's offense. Now, at times that works because Jalen Brunson's really good and Karl-Anthony Towns is really good. And they can go through spurts where they carry an offense by themselves. Yes. But I didn't see the speed, the pace, the consistent driving, the multiple bites at the apple that they've been trying to generate. And I thought that was lacking at times in the game. So I guarantee Mike Brown will say something about that in his postgame. We'll see if he does. So that would be a bigger picture takeaway. And then the second one would be the defense, which over large stretches of games just isn't getting stops right now.
So I would have gone with the defense as my, if I had a bigger picture takeaway, because it was, and look, they got to win. This is going to be a positive postgame because I know, and again, just to like look behind the scenes, there are games where there are not great games, or last year there were games that were not great games and they got to win. And I would try to reflect the opinions of like the vocal minority. And afterwards, people be like, come on, man, they won the fucking game. Be happy. I'm going to be happy about this one. Because you know why I'm going to be happy? Because you know what the alternative is? We're sitting here talking about a goddamn loss. And that would not have been good. But I do want to at least start out by acknowledging that this was, I mean, how many times have you felt as a Knicks fan playing defense where it's like, oh my God, how are they going to get a stop? Mm-hmm. And they did not have Ojananobi, and his absence is hovering over this whole thing like a giant cloud. You cannot talk about what this defense is incapable of doing right now without mentioning the fact that they are missing a guy who is playing at, again, unequivocally an all defense level. That said, there are 30 teams in the NBA. You know how many of them are worse ranked than the Dallas Mavericks in offensive rating?
0.
That would be 0. So to have, and by the way, I know he's 18 years old, but they were missing arguably their best offensive player tonight, best healthy offensive player tonight.
Correct. And it comes down to the inability to keep guys out of the paint. It is just easy for, especially, well, I would say in this case, it was both quick guards and big wings. In the first half, it was a big wing who just powered his way to the rim over and over again, and Najee Marshall. In the second half, it was more their point guards, whether it was D'Lo or Williams, splitting, targeting Brunson, easily getting into the paint, and then we're over-helping for Brunson, and then they're spraying for threes. It just didn't feel, you never felt like they found any defensive traction until the last 2 or 3 minutes when I thought they actually did find it, which is really why they won the game, starting with a Landry Shamet pressure defense possession where he single-handedly forced a turnover when he checked back into the game.
Can we talk? I'm watching our replay of us cackling like idiots because I want to send this out on social media. That was
with the offensive foul. We haven't talked about that yet.
We haven't talked about the offensive foul. Yeah. So Landry Shamet. Can we start anyplace else?
You can start because, as I often say about Landry Shamet, it's Landry Shamet. What else can you say?
I am going to choose. Not to hold those 2 missed free throws against him. And you know why I'm going to choose to do that? Because there have been a lot better players than him to come to the line in big spots and have just a moment that, like, LeBron James has missed 2 free throws in that situation. Jalen Brunson, memorably, in a game against the Chicago Bulls 3.5 years ago. It was right before that Dallas game, the Luka 60 special. Brunson missed 2 free throws, as did Quentin Grimes in that game. Another pretty good free throw shooter. This shit happens, this shit happens. And it is what it is. That dude came in and won then the game.
He did. He was the guy who wanted the shots. He made 2. And defensively was I really thought the catalyst, the game changer, just from like a pressure perspective. Landry can get overpowered at times too. We've seen that in Miami. He really struggled to contain the ball. But he tries really hard. Always. Every second he's on the floor. On both ends, he tries hard. He's a try-hard guy on both ends. He's always moving. He's always running. And then, those possessions, like when you can just randomly cause a turnover like that because of your just intensity, it can really swing a game. And look, we when he checked back in for Deuce, I think we both said, I think that's the right move. I think
can we backtrack before that though? Because both of us, when they were making the set of substitutions, the previous set of substitutions before that, we were talking about it. Like, all right, well, you probably want Josh Hart in there at this point. Like, it's time to bring him back in. But you were saying maybe not Josh with Mitch because of the spacing. Mm-hmm. And I think I landed on the lineup that he went with, which was with Deuce. And I was like, Shamet, I didn't think he was having a great game. And sent him off. And then Deuce, who had some, listen, did Deuce have a great game? No. Deuce hit not one, hit two. Yeah, I was going to say not one, not two. No, two massive threes in the fourth quarter that they needed in the moment.
And the second one was almost a heave at the end of the shot clock.
It was a blown
way back there.
Yes.
And he made it. Yeah. So
I don't want to make it out to be like Deuce killed him.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
but it ended up being, it was just like they needed a little bit of a spark.
Yep.
And Shamet came in, and boy, did he give them a spark. And just like he's having a moment, John, like Landry Shamet is somehow in this early season is having a moment where he's become a critical piece of this team. And even though he was the last guy basically to make the roster, he's just become invaluable as a mover, as a connector, and as a defender. It's pretty remarkable stuff.
You can't get through your statement without chuckling to yourself, but because we're it's no disrespect to this man.
No,
he has been on 6 NBA teams. He has been waived. A year ago, literally any team could have signed him to a minimum contract because he was not on the roster because he was recovering from an injury, and the Knicks cut him. And now he's here.
And this offseason, he was sitting there for the taking too. Despite having a decent year, anyone could have had him again. And
he signed he's still on a not guaranteed. I don't think his contract is fully guaranteed yet. I'm pretty sure he's still on a not guaranteed, like exhibit really whatever contract. They're not cutting him. I got spoiler alert. He's going to be around for a while because it's crazy to say, where would this team be without Landry Shamet right now? Where would this team be without Landry Shamet right now? It's insane. It's insane, but here we are.
I do think, I'll say one more thing about him. Like, please. He's a really good fit with Mike Brown.
Speak on that.
Because Mike Brown, we know he's emphasized kind of this increased movement and cutting off of the ball, and that is where Landry Shamet thrives. Like that maybe is his best skill, is his intuitive, aggressive, always full speed movement off the ball. And he has thrived in this system because of it. So I think as much as he had a decent year under Tibbs last year, just being kind of like a plug and play guy, I think what Brown has brought has really accentuated his skills. And I think it's allowed him to kind of break out in this way. So it's become a good fit, and he's become a fixture in the rotation.
Coming into tonight, Landry Shamet had 3 3-point attempts in 23 minutes. He came into tonight averaging 7.9 3-point attempts per 36 minutes. I'll be very clear about that. Per 36 minutes. And he came into tonight as the team's leading 3-point shooter. He is the only, McCall's leading, and then Shamet is next, but McCall 6 per 36. Again, Shamet almost 8 per 36. So there's a bit of a difference there. Let's talk about some other things, because there was actually lots to talk about tonight, and we could really just kind of go down the roster, and I think every hit on each guy and get into it. We talked about Deuce a little bit, 4-12 overall, but again, the 3 threes he made, you felt their impact. Let's talk about Jalen Brunson. Captain's back. They needed him. Third quarter was prime peak Brunson, whatever you want to call it. You could tell in the first half he was not all the way back, but what did you see from the captain tonight?
Yeah, definitely rust early from a decision-making standpoint. Had a really rough stretch in the first quarter of a couple turnovers and missed shots, but found his game in the third. And it's crazy what just his gravity can do, because he made a couple of ISO buckets in the third, and then all of a sudden they're throwing doubles at him at half court. And now Josh is screening for him. They're hitting Josh in the pocket. He's finding shooters. So that's just, it's like what a guy like that does for you is he's an automatic advantage creator. Like just from his sheer brilliance on the offensive end, when a possession might be difficult for a team to generate anything, well, Jalen Brunson's getting doubled basically at half court. That tells you all you need to know about what he means to this team.
And the thing I want to say about him and the team in general, and now this is going to get people mad at me, because this is going to seem like I'm putting lipstick on a pig and I'm being an apologist. But it got to the point in the game, as you said, where we were getting half-court doubles. And I thought, by and large, the Knicks did well in those situations and got a bunch of open threes. And you know what they did when they got those open threes? They missed every god-blessed one of them. They shot 29% from three in this game, 12 of 42 overall from deep. And here's where, again, I'm going to make people mad. the team still scored 113 points, which I know in the NBA today is not a lot. But if you could put up 113 on a night where you cannot hit the far side of a barn from three and you miss, that can't be right.
Oh, it's right. No, it's right. Say it. It is correct. It's a real number.
This is why they make this stuff. 16 free throws.
So you even say on a bad free throw shooting night for the Knicks, on a normal bad free throw shooting night, they score 123.
Yes, because they're 29 and 35. Well, 29 and 35 is like a fine. That's an average free throw shooting.
Yeah, they're scoring 120 tonight easy. And if they're making a bad amount of free throws, like this was next level. And you know what? To get it out of the way and a win, because it happens. There's no like. This,
you can't draw conclusions.
No, you don't. Free throws. It is literally just percentages, and they'll come back. Like they'll make a bunch now. They're a really good free throw shooting team. They have been for years. It's just Mitch that's the bad free throw shooter. You don't take anything away from the fact that they missed a bunch of free throws. Maybe Shamet, you could say, like was feeling the pressure there, but no one else is feeling the pressure. Sometimes it happens where you collectively have a bad free throw shooting night, and to win that game instead of doing it in a game against a better opponent, frankly. Yeah, maybe that's actually a nice thing, you know?
And because I know we're going to get a super chat or multiple super chats about it, the Knicks are the 5th best free throw shooting team in the league by percentage. They are a good, maybe not an elite free throw shooting team, but if you're top 5 in a league of 30 teams, you're pretty close to elite.
Yeah, and if you take Mitch out of there, I mean, then they're elite. I mean, you got 90% shooters missing 3 or 4 tonight. I mean, Clarkson missed. He's a 90%. Cat missed 3 or 4. He's a 90%. These are great, historically great free throw shooters.
Yes.
It just happens. You spit on it and you move on.
That's I 100% completely agree. Okay. Where should we go from here? Let's talk about Cat. Might as well talk about Cat. The numbers aren't good. 6 of 16, 1 of 6 from 3. We talked about it all night. And again, this is one of those things that we're going to be on this hill for as long as he's on this team. Those are all good shots. Even the last one that he missed, there will be people who will be like, you're a big man, go down. No, he hasn't been that open in 12 years. Are you kidding me? Like they literally forgot about him. They forgot he was on the court.
It was shocking that he missed that shot. Like he's got, it's, you can't, everyone's been pining for him to take more threes since really his whole career. Yeah. And it feels like now he's gotten to a place where he's letting them go. And unfortunately, the shame of it is he's not getting rewarded for it because he's missing all of them. Yeah. But it's coming, man. Like
it's going to come.
Again, back of the basketball card is what it is. He's going to make shots.
I want to commend him for his overall performance because I thought absent a couple of, again, they're going to happen every game. A couple of typical Cat head scratchers. Like why? It's Klay Thompson, Cat. What? I mean, he's been in the league for a while. He could do one thing really well. Other than those things, I thought he defended okay. He got to the line 9 times, pulled down 14 rebounds, 6 assists, only 3 turnovers. The foul, it was 1 or 2 bad fouls, but like from a process standpoint, I was actually encouraged by the game from Cat tonight. His execution was not always there, but again,
and like Brunson in the third quarter, there was a stretch there where his drives were just kind of keeping the Knicks in it.
Absolutely,
a bunch of buckets in a row.
Yes,
and you take those for granted because they're not pulling ahead in those moments. But you know what? You stay within 2 or 3 because the Cat's just going on a scoring run. It just keeps you in the game, and then you can find it late.
We do not need to talk about Jordan Clarkson. Jordan, the Hive is still here. The
Hive is stronger than ever.
The Hive is.
We got it.
How strong was it on the pull-up 3, Ben? You were flexing on the pull-up 3.
I liked them. I had no issue with the. I promise you, I had no issue with the pull-up 3. You did. I had an issue with his defense in the second half. Holy God, was that bad?
But that's a real thing because
it's a real thing. Against Miami, it was a struggle too. It's a real thing.
They will run into a team or teams where it frankly may not be. They may just not have the lineups where it's tenable to play Jordan Clarkson. Whatever, pick your number of minutes. But we'll deal with that when we come to it. And we got a trade deadline, by the way, to go through before we get there. Mohamed Diawara, nice, thank you for participating. You want to say anything about Mo?
Nice block.
Nice block. There you go.
Good for him getting a minute. Whatever.
Yeah, that was 2 minutes of 2 minutes. That was Mike Brown's idea of. But look, say this for Brown. He can say whatever the hell he wants to say. I'm going to lean into my younger players. This is that. Bridges and Brunson and Cat led the team in minutes tonight with 35 apiece. They're off the next 2 nights. I had no issues with any of the minutes tonight.
No, I think it's fair to be surprised, and if you want to be disappointed, because the expectation was based on his history and based on his words that he was going to throw guys out there in a way that Tibbs certainly did not.
Yep.
And it turns out, whether it's because he's with those guys a lot and he doesn't see it, we're talking about specifically probably Kolek and maybe Diawara, maybe Pacome, but Pacome seems to be in the shadow realm. And then, so I think it's fair to be disappointed in that. And if you are high on Kolek, which I think there's reasons to be, you were high on him. I am high on Kolek. I still think Kolek. But I also said when they brought Jordan Clarkson into the fold, that was a very bad sign for Kolek. Just not because he can't play, but because I'm not sure he can play with Clarkson. And that makes it hard. So I understand where Brown's hesitations are. But look, he's the one that in some way caused the expectations. I think it's fair to ask, hey man, like it's early in the season. Now, to your point, none of the guys played huge minutes. So it's not like he's killing these guys in the same way. But I understand the complaint, and I don't necessarily feel it to the extent that others do, but I get it. And sometimes I'm like, hey, give Kolek a few minutes here and there. What's not going to kill you against Dallas? Maybe it would have. I don't know.
Let me just say what I think is obvious, but I'll say it. The issue, the Knicks are not at a development stage of their team building process. They are in the winning a championship stage. The whole thing with playing the bench more last season had nothing to do with getting those guys more minutes. It had to do with limiting the minutes of the starters. Brown is doing that because he is playing Josh Hart 30 minutes off the bench and McBride 22 and Clarkson 20 and Yabusele, who I want to get to next briefly, 17. The problem last year is you would get campaign and you'd look up and he played 4 minutes.
That's right.
And
the second there was a sign of trouble, Brunson's back in with 10 left in the fourth. Like Brown's not doing that.
Yes, and Shaman would play 6 minutes, or that sort of stuff. You're not getting that anymore.
Yeah, but the difference between tonight and the second Miami game is Yabusele.
Because
the minutes did get high, right? The minutes did get high against Miami, or higher than they've been, partially because he really only was playing 7 guys, which is very little.
So interesting line for Yabusele. Again, take any game to game plus minus with many grains of salt. Team high plus 15. He attempted 5 threes. He missed all 5 of them. I thought he played pretty well. I did. So yeah. I think he's shown slow and steady progress. It hasn't been what we wanted it to be yet. Like where we envisioned him fitting in, slotting in. He's not playing the 5 at all, which is interesting to note. He's really playing the 4, which I think limits his offense. Although he did get 3 looks, he got looks from 3 tonight. He just missed all of them. But I think he's definitely looking more agile defensively than he was day one of the season. And I think we all kind of predicted it would take a month or 2 for him to just find his wind, get in shape a little bit. And I think you're starting to see his activity defensively pay dividends. So, nothing great. He's got to make some threes to become an effective player, but good activity from him, better than we've seen. And he was rewarded with more minutes. Yes, he was. Only 2 guys we haven't talked about are Mitch and Mikal. Mitch, I don't know that we need to spend a lot of time on Mitch Robinson. We commented on it throughout the night. Defensively, it's not quite all the way there right now. For him, he was limited on the boards. Only 8 rebounds, 3 offensive in 22 minutes. I'm not worried about Mitch. Mitch will get there.
Yeah, and by the way, that's a legit center duo. If you can throw Lively and Gafford at him, who are physical and big and good. So that's part of it too. Is there was a real matchup there. But yeah, I don't think he's quite himself defensively. The offensive rebounding, he'll have games that just kind of amaze you. Tonight wasn't one of them. That's okay.
And then I'll save this guy for last because he's going to be the unheralded hero of this game. And part of that is because he had, was it the worst non-missed free throw division? He had the worst moment of the game. Mikal Bridges, when he record scratched, and I guess you could call that a pass to Josh Hart. Wasn't really much of a pass, but massive in the first half. They needed his offense in the first half, and then hit the biggest non-sham at 3 of the game to tie it up at 106.
Yeah, huge. A couple of bad misses from the corner, which he's been so automatic from there that you were surprised by it. One hit the side of the backboard, one was almost an air ball long. Yeah. But he's been so good from there. On his drives, he can lack physicality, which forces him outside the paint, and then he picks up his dribble and he's in trouble. You saw that on that last turnover. But also defensively, like his anticipation right now is on a really high level. Yep. He's picking off balls like he's a pass ahead, and then coming back for blocks on drives when he's on the perimeter. When he sees a guy's going to shoot over, let's say, a Brunson or a Deuce in that floater range, he's dropping down and contesting himself. So he's been really good defensively, much better than last year so far. And I thought tonight was really, really good on that end. He'll frustrate you sometimes on offense because of that lack of physicality, but overall, a very solid performance in a season where he's just had a lot of solid performances.
Can I give you a fun stat? Let me see if I could find it real quick. Yeah. Okay. So the 3 games coming into this one, and I'll give you the stat and then I'm going to let you go. Mikal Bridges had 11 steals and 6 blocks. As long as we have been recording steals and blocks in the league, there's only one other Knick who put up those at least that many steals and at least that many blocks. Do you want to guess who it is? He's played in the last 15. He's played in the last 15 years on the team.
Man,
and a similar body type to Mikal Bridges, I would even say, a taller.
Jared Jeffries.
Wow, that was good. Yeah, that was freaking impressive.
Anytime we talk Jared Jeffries, I'm in for that.
And by the way, the only other, again, this is according to StatHead, the only other NBA player over the last 5 seasons to have put up that particular combination of steals and blocks, Victor Wembanyama. Well, why do I bring that up tonight?
Tall.
Yeah, not bad when you're in the same class as Wemby. Well, tonight, Mikal Bridges, 3 steals, 2 blocks. He is racking up these splash plays on defense, and it's madness.
We talked about this a lot last season. He for whatever reason, it's changed. He's gotten older. He's doing more on offense than he did when he first came into the league. He just is no longer a primary pick and roll defender. That is just not his role. And Tibbs tried to make that his role last season for a very long time, and it just never came to fruition. And now, whether it's Deuce in the starting lineup or Landry Shamet taking those assignments or OG taking those, he's just off the ball more. And we're seeing what he can do when he's in that position. That's where he belongs. And it's made a huge difference just in terms of his deployment on that end. And look, he's also just, I think, more locked in this season.
Yeah. He's in a better place overall. Look, again, this is not one that's going to go, well, it'll go in the memory banks, but maybe not for the reasons we want. We know this team needs OG Anunoby. We know that this team probably, I don't want to say probably, it's gonna be an interesting trade deadline, Benji, and it'll be interesting to see what rumors emerge between now and February about if they're looking at backup point guards, if they are looking at maybe big men to shore up the depth there. You could tell me either, and I would not be shocked. But it feels like a team that is a little bit lacking on the outskirts right now, and it is impacting them. But look, you try to rack up wins in the meantime.
Can we get Najee Marshall by any chance?
Is he available? I'd like to get that Najee Marshall. That'd be great.
Just that prototype, and it's why I wanted Dorian Finney-Smith last year.
Me and you were together on that one,
and he went for peanuts. And nothing. It was like, man, they're just missing that another big wing body.
Yep.
And Marshall certainly fits that profile, but we'll have time to talk about all this.
Yeah.
The one guy I didn't mention is Josh Hart, which I'm shocked by, John.
Oh shit. I glossed right over Josh Hart. I think I was maybe in my mind saving him for last. It was a classic Josh Hart game. In both ways, good and bad. 16, 10, and 5.
That's quite a nice line.
And on a night where nobody could buy anything from behind the arc, of course, Josh Hart, 3 or 4 from deep.
Corners, Josh. Be in the corners. Spend less time above the break because you're clogging things up there. Get in the corners, get in the dunker spot. There were a couple, that Jalen Brunson isolation run that he was on was because Josh was screening and dropping. Yep. And that allowed Brunson. And then eventually we saw, and I called this out on the playback that Dallas was going to do this, when Josh would drop into the paint, they just keep the defender there and double Brunson. Well, now Josh is a playmaker, which he's good at.
Yeah.
So he's got to stay away from that splitting the top. I'm telling you, if he can do that and just play in spots that are more conducive to his skill set, I think he's going to be huge for this team. And he showed it tonight. He was huge in certain spots. By the way,
including in transition with the pass.
Transition,
Brunson.
massive. Yeah. And then the offensive rebound on his own miss, kick out to Shabbat for the 3. Classic Josh Hart.
He also got another it was another massive rebound that Josh Hart got in the fourth quarter. I forget when exactly, but look, there are people out there who will swear to you that Josh Hart cannot be part of a good or great cohesive offense. I'm happy to die on that hill. Good Josh Hart. Locked in Josh Hart. Josh Hart doing the things he's supposed to do and avoiding the things he's not supposed to do can be a part of a great offense. We just got to see more of that. Okay, Benji, I'm going to let you go. It's 1:00 in the freaking morning. Hey. Thank you for sticking this one out today, baby. Appreciate you.
My pleasure. Pleasure to be with you. Pleasure to watch that game with you. As watching you, literally, I was watching your hair gray and your hair fall out. It was really a tremendous experience. Pleasure as always. Have fun tonight. Hope you're get some rest. We'll talk soon.
Oh yeah. I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's what they say. Must be 21 or over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatics Sportsbook app.